Okay, so we've gone through our reconnaissance stage of pen testing. We've done our scanning as well as our enumeration. The next step is, yes, hacking the target. Now, the whole purpose here is to release the Kraken. Okay, for those of you guys who don't know me, I like making fun of the movie Clash of the Titans. Okay, to be more serious, there's actually a couple things that we want to accomplish here during this stage of the pen test. One of those things is to evaluate the current security posture of the target. And when I say target, again, hopefully you guys understand, I mean either the client, if you're a contractor, pen tester, or it could be your own company. Now, how we look at those security postures is by going through and simulating different types of attacks. And the reason why we say different types of attacks is not only for the different OSs, but also for the different devices to see if there's any type of vulnerability. The overall goal here from the pen tester's perspective is to see if the target can be actually pwned. If we can pwn the target, then we know that obviously an attacker could accomplish the same thing. And again, we're going to look at this from both the inside and the outside access. Now, as far as releasing the Kraken on your target, there are a couple steps that you're going to go through. And this is probably one of the more complex domains within the pen testing environment because there's so many different ways that you can get in. But our overall goal here, or the steps that we'll go through, is that first we want to see if we can try to, since we've enumerated, we know possibly of the system's names or the node's names, as well as obviously user accounts. So we need to see if we can crack the password. And there's different ways that we can crack the passwords. We're going to always start off with the least obtrusive, but we'll get more and more active as we get further down the road. We also want to see if we're able to do something called privilege escalation. This again is covered in detailed in the Hacking the Systems course. So if you're not familiar with the concept, make sure that you go back and watch that particular course. But we can attempt to elevate the privileges of an account two different ways. We'll also be looking at service accounts that may be loaded or installed on those boxes and those machines. It's actually one of my favorite accounts to go after because nobody pays attention to them. After we get in, we'll then go through and start firing off our applications. So it makes it easier for us to get back in the second, third, fourth time, or at least the proof that we can get back in easily. And once we load up our applications, and we have different ways that we'll talk about that we do that during the pen test, we'll then look at how we can actually hide our applications so they can't be seen. You don't want somebody to do a software scan and see that Nmap is installed on a particular box because that could actually cause a flag to be thrown in the air that there's something wrong with this particular system or that the pen tester has hit that target. We'll then go through and talk about different ways that we can cover our tracks during the pen test. Again, there's nothing more embarrassing, at least from the pen tester's perspective, of getting caught because then it flags and tells everybody at your target location, your target company, that the attack is on. And then, of course, as we've talked about in the other domains, and you're going to hear me talk about in each and every single domain, we'll look at the documentation. So let's release the Kraken.